My sister took credit for everything I'd done and just looked me in the eye and said, "I deserve more." "You'll be fine." So I gave her exactly what she wanted, every last bit of it. And just a few weeks later, she was scrambling to get me back. Honestly, I didn't even see it coming until the damage was already done. I'd spent years pouring myself into that business, late nights, constant stress, sacrifice after sacrifice. I gave it everything I had, building it up from nothing with my bare hands. And through all of it, my sister Lisa was always hanging around in the background. She'd pitch in now and then, mostly when it was convenient for her, but for the most part, she just watched. I never thought too much about it because, well, she was family. But the moment my biggest break came along, the one I'd worked toward for years, Lisa suddenly became a permanent fixture. At first, it was subtle. Just little comments dropped in here and there, usually around family. Twisting the truth just enough to make herself look important. "Oh, I helped with that," she'd say. Or, "Yeah, I basically set that whole thing up for him." At first, I brushed it off. Lisa had always liked to puff herself up, make things sound bigger than they were. But then came the real gut punch. One of the major clients I'd spent years building a relationship with was finally ready to close a massive deal. It was a career-defining moment for me, something that would have taken my name to the top of the industry. Right when I was about to get the recognition I had earned, Lisa stepped in and pulled the rug out from under me. She spun this elaborate tale, convincing everyone, our family, co-workers, even my own partners, that she was the brains behind it all. That she was the real driver of the company's success. And somehow, they bought it. I couldn't believe it. I finally confronted her one night after someone else came up to congratulate her on my success. I kept my voice steady, trying not to let the frustration show. "Lisa," I said, "why are you doing this? You know I built this company. Sure, you helped here and there, but this was my blood, sweat, and tears." She just looked at me with that smug little smirk she always wore when she thought she had the upper hand. "I deserve more," she said, folding her arms. "You'll manage." I stared at her, hoping to see some flicker of guilt or hesitation. But she meant every word. That's when I made my choice. If she wanted the business so badly, she could have it. All of it. The pressure, the chaos, the sleepless nights, I was done fighting. I'd let her carry the weight she claimed to deserve. The next morning, I made it official. Walked into the office, packed up my stuff, and sent out a short, no-nonsense email to the board and our clients. Effective immediately, I'm stepping away from the company. Lisa has expressed confidence in her ability to handle all responsibilities moving forward. And just like that, I walked away. If she wanted the spotlight, it was hers. If she wanted credit for everything, now she had to prove she could keep the ship afloat. Funny thing was, no one expected me to actually go through with it. Even Lisa looked stunned when she saw me clearing out my desk. "What are you doing?" she asked, confused. "I'm letting you have it," I told her, grabbing my laptop. "Isn't this what you wanted?" She just blinked. Totally caught off guard. I could tell she expected a showdown, maybe thought I'd beg for credit or try to take it all back. But I didn't. I just walked out and left her standing there in my office, well, her office now, completely speechless. What she didn't know was that I had something else in the works. For months, I'd been building a side project, a new business idea. Something streamlined, smarter, with none of the baggage that came from my old company. At first, it was just a fallback plan, something I tinkered with in the little free time I had. But now it was my future. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I could finally breathe again. Lisa had no idea what was heading her way. At first, she soaked up all the attention. I saw her social media posts, bragging about her company, her leadership, and her big vision. Folks were clapping her on the back, praising her like she was some business prodigy. For 2 whole weeks, she strutted around like royalty. Then the reality check hit her square in the face. Turns out, running a company isn't about applause or fancy job titles. It's about rolling up your sleeves, putting out fires, keeping clients happy, and making hard decisions day in and day out, even when the sky feels like it's falling. And Lisa? She had no clue how to handle any of it. Before long, I started getting messages from folks I used to work with. "Hey man, you know what's going on? Lisa's been bailing on meetings last minute." Another text hit me harder. "Dude, our biggest client just walked away. She completely flopped during the pitch. Hate to say it, but the company's going downhill fast." I didn't bother replying. I didn't have to. The best part? She couldn't pin this on me. Lisa had been crystal clear from the start, this was her show now. Her time to shine. And boy, was she crashing and burning in spectacular fashion. The clients I'd spent years building relationships with? They started backing out. One by one. The employees, fed up with her chaotic leadership, began handing in their resignations. She scrambled to bring in replacements, but without my reputation holding up the brand, no one decent wanted to stick around. I knew exactly what was coming. Lisa was going to hit that wall and come running back, hoping I'd swoop in to save her. What I didn't expect was how fast it would all fall apart. Just 3 weeks. That's all it took for her to go from puffed up and proud to completely overwhelmed. She went from "I deserve more" to "I need help" in record time. It started with a few texts I ignored. Hey, can I ask you something real quick? Got a minute? There's been a mix-up with the clients. Then came the calls. At first, I just let them ring out and hit voicemail. Eventually, I picked up, just for the hell of it. The second she heard my voice, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. Finally. We need to talk. I leaned back in my chair, half amused. We? I said. Funny how she was suddenly using that word again. Talk about what? I asked, acting like I didn't know exactly why she was calling. Lisa paused, clearly choking down her pride. Things have gotten messy. Some issues with the clients. Turns out a few of those contracts weren't as solid as I thought. I just need you to. No, I cut in. Silence. I could practically hear her gears grinding. No, she echoed, like it was a foreign language. That's right, I said, calm as ever. You told me you deserved this. That I could step aside. Well, I have stepped aside. I'm managing, just not your mess. This is what you wanted, remember? She was quiet for a beat, then let out a scoff. Oh come on, stop being dramatic. You know the company's a mess without you. Just come back and fix it. I laughed. For real. Fix it? You mean clean up the wreckage you left behind? Nah, I'm good. Look, she said, her tone shifting. I know we've had our differences, but this isn't just about me. The company's going under. Think about the employees. The employees? I cut her off. You mean the same folks you convinced I wasn't that important? The ones who clapped while you claimed all the credit? Lisa stammered. I didn't, that's not. I let out a long sigh. You wanted the business, Lisa. Now you've got it. Time to deal with it. She gave it one more shot, her voice trembling a bit now. Please, I'll make it right. I'll tell everyone the truth, you were the reason the company was successful. No, I said, steady and firm. That ship sailed a long time ago. And before she could say another word, I hung up. I sat there for a moment, just looking at my phone. Lisa had spent years thinking she could take whatever she wanted. My work, my success, even parts of my life. But not this time. This time, she was on her own. And for the first time ever, she had to deal with the fallout of her own choices. And let me tell you, she didn't take it well. After I cut her off, she went into full-blown panic mode trying to win me back. First came the denial. Texts rolled in non-stop. So you're really gonna let everything we built fall apart? I thought you cared about the company. This is petty. It's bigger than just you and me. Bigger than us? That was rich coming from the same woman who pushed me out of my own company like I was nothing. I ignored every single message. Then came the guilt trips. Mom and Dad are so disappointed in you. I can't believe you'd walk away from all those employees. After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me? That one nearly made me spit out my coffee. Everything she had done for me? I was the one who built the damn company from scratch. I was the one who put in the blood, sweat, and years. She was the one who swooped in, claimed all the glory, and shoved me out. If anything, I should have been the one firing off those guilt-laced texts. But here's the kicker, the worse things got for her, the better they got for me. Now that I had all my time and energy focused on the new company I'd been quietly putting together, progress came fast. Within a month, I'd locked in my first major client. One that would have gone to the old business if Lisa hadn't run it into the ground. 2 months in, I had a small but solid team in place. No drama, no ego, no second guessing. Just good people doing good work. By month 3, my new company was making more money than the old one ever had. And the cherry on top? Lisa was barely staying afloat. I knew things were really falling apart when people we both knew started reaching out. One afternoon, Jake, one of my old employees, called me. "Man, what's happening with Lisa?" he asked. "I left last week. It's chaos over there." "Oh yeah?" I said, playing dumb. "What happened?" "She's clueless," he groaned. "Doesn't know how to manage clients. Deadlines are being missed left and right. Now she's blaming us, like the team's the problem. We were fine before she showed up." I shook my head, grinning. Classic Lisa. Total meltdown mode. Jake kept going. "Word is, she's thinking about reaching out to you again. Probably gonna beg." I smirked. "Already did." Jake laughed out loud. And I told her no." He whistled. "Good for you, man. Seriously. She doesn't deserve you." And he was right. She didn't. She always wanted the spotlight without lifting a finger when things got tough. Wanted the praise, but none of the pressure. Well, she finally got what she'd been chasing all along. And now, it was all slipping right through her hands. But the real hit? That was still on its way. Lisa wasn't just starting to lose her grip on the company. She was about to lose the whole thing, top to bottom. A few weeks after we last spoke, my phone rang. The caller ID nearly made me do a double take. It was the last person I ever expected, our top investor. His name was Richard Carter. Sharp guy, all business, zero tolerance for nonsense. He wasn't the type to sugarcoat anything or waste time on drama. He'd poured a lot of money into our company not because of Lisa, but because he believed in me. So the second I saw his name pop up, I knew exactly what this was about. I answered the call. "Hey, Richard." He let out a long, tired sigh. "So, you finally ready to come back?" I laughed under my breath. "Not a chance." There was a beat of silence, then a quiet chuckle. "Didn't think so." I leaned back in my chair. "Let me guess, Lisa finally drove the company straight into the ground?" Richard didn't miss a beat. "She didn't just crash it. She buried it." I could hear the irritation in his voice loud and clear. "We've lost 4 major clients just this quarter. The company's bleeding cash. Lisa's flailing around, trying to patch things up, but it's obvious she's in way over her head." I wasn't shocked in the slightest. I saw this train wreck coming a mile away. "What do you need from me, Richard?" I asked. He paused a second. "Look, I'm pulling my investment. Already got the ball rolling. Without that funding, she won't last another month." "She's toast," I said with a nod. "Can't blame you. It's the smart move." Richard sighed again, heavier this time. "I tried to warn her, you know. Told her straight up she wasn't ready to take over on her own. But she wouldn't listen. Thought she had it all figured out." I smirked. "Yeah. I remember." He continued, "And now? She's begging me not to pull out. Called me 3 times just this morning." I raised an eyebrow. "And what did you say?" "I told her exactly what she needed to hear," he said, and I could hear the edge in his voice. I leaned forward a bit. "Which was?" Richard chuckled. "Told her the only reason I ever invested in the first place was because of you. And that I wouldn't trust her to run a lemonade stand." I let out a low whistle. "Damn. That's cold." "She had it coming," he said firmly. "She really thought she could coast on your hard work forever. Pretend to be a leader without ever doing the hard part. But that's not how this game works." I smiled. "No, it sure isn't." Richard went quiet for a second. Then he asked, "Just between us, what's next for you?" I knew what he was really getting at. He wanted in on whatever I was working on now. I glanced at the stack of signed contracts on my desk, the new clients, the team I'd built from scratch. "I'm doing just fine," I told him. "Actually, better than ever." He gave a thoughtful hum. Good. Well, if you ever need backing, you've got my number. I'll keep that in mind. We ended the call, and I just sat there for a minute, letting it all settle in. Lisa was officially done for. Her ego had cost her everything. And the best part? She had no one to blame but herself. I figured that'd be the end of it. She lost the company, the investors, whatever reputation she had left. I assumed she'd go quiet for a while, maybe try to spin some version of the story to make herself look like a victim. But I underestimated just how desperate she really was. Because the very next day, she showed up at my office. I was reviewing a contract when Claire, my assistant, knocked on the door. She looked a little uneasy. "There's someone here to see you," she said. I glanced up. "Who is it?" She hesitated. "Your sister." I sighed and pinched the bridge of my nose. "Did she have an appointment?" "No," Claire replied, "but she's refusing to leave." Of course she was. I leaned back in my chair, weighing my options. Every instinct in me said to tell Claire to show her the door. But part of me was curious to see just how far she'd fallen. "Send her in," I finally said. A moment later, Lisa stepped through the door. And man, she looked rough. That usual smug air about her? Gone. She looked completely wiped out, bags under her eyes, hair a mess, clothes thrown together instead of her usual picture-perfect look. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days, worn down by the mess she'd created. And I'll be honest, I was enjoying every bit of it. She dropped into the chair across from me without waiting for permission and jumped right into her speech. "Look, I know things got a little out of hand," she started, trying to manage a weak smile. "I might have underestimated how tough it'd be to run things." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh yeah?" She swallowed. "I made some mistakes. But I want to fix them. I really think the company can still be saved. We can still fix it." I sat there, staring at her, letting the silence hang heavy. Then I spoke. "There is no we, Lisa." Her expression cracked. I said, calm and steady. "You took everything from me. Lied to the family, to our clients, to the people who believed in us. You wanted control. Well, now you've got the consequences." Her jaw tightened, and for a second, I saw that old entitlement flash in her eyes. But just as fast, it vanished. "Fine," she mumbled. "Then, maybe you could hire me? I could work under you. I'll take whatever position you've got." I let out a real laugh. The kind that comes from deep in your chest when the irony just hits too hard to ignore. Lisa working for me? After all that's happened? I couldn't believe it. Shaking my head, I knew it was never going to happen. Her eyes went wide, like she couldn't process it. "But you burned that bridge the moment you decided you deserved more than everyone else." I leaned forward, locking eyes with her. "You made your bed. Now lie in it." Her face flushed a deep red. She opened her mouth like she was about to argue, but no words came out. It was over for her. She stood up abruptly, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. "You're going to regret this," she snapped. "You think you've won," but I cut her off with a smirk. "Oh, I know I've won." She glared at me a moment longer, then stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I watched her leave, feeling lighter than I had in years. For once, I wasn't the one cleaning up after her. For once, I wasn't the one left holding the pieces. Lisa had spent her whole life taking from me. But now? She had nothing left to take. She never reached out again after that day. No more frantic texts. No more guilt trips. No more begging for help. She finally understood I wasn't coming back. And honestly, it felt better than I ever imagined. With Lisa out of the picture, my new business started flourishing. I didn't waste time fixing her screw-ups anymore. I didn't have to fight for recognition. I could finally focus on creating something that was truly mine. And it paid off. Within 6 months, my company was outpacing the old one. A year later, I'd secured contracts Lisa would have killed for. Meanwhile, Lisa? She was nowhere to be found. I heard bits and pieces from mutual contacts. After her company collapsed, she tried starting her own. It crumbled in less than 3 months. She burned through her savings, just trying to keep it afloat. When that failed, she jumped from job to job, never sticking around for long. Turns out, when your success is built on lies, there's not much to fall back on. I wasn't the only one who had written her off. Our old colleagues didn't trust her anymore. Investors wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Even our parents, who once believed her stories, had stopped making excuses for her. She'd run out of people to manipulate. And now, she was completely alone. The irony? She'd spent all that time trying to take credit for my work, but now, my real success had left her far behind. And I wasn't looking back. I should have known it was coming. After more than a year of silence, Lisa reappeared. It started with a single, hesitant text. "Hey, can we talk?" I stared at it, debating if I even wanted to respond. A year ago, she'd barged into my office, demanding I fix her mess. Now, she was asking to talk. I didn't answer. A day later, another text came through. "I know I messed up. I just want to make things right." I almost laughed. Lisa didn't do making things right. She did damage control. But, out of curiosity, I agreed to meet her at a public cafe, neutral ground. When I walked in, she was already sitting at a corner table. And she looked different. Not just physically, though she no longer carried that polished, confident air she used to. No, this was deeper. She looked defeated. For the first time, she didn't look like my entitled, arrogant sister. She looked like someone who had finally hit rock bottom. She gave me a small, nervous smile when I sat down. "Hey," she said. "Lisa," I replied, nodding. She hesitated, clearly unsure where to start. Then, she let out a deep breath. I lost everything. I didn't say a word. Just waited. "I burned too many bridges," she continued, staring at her coffee. "Nobody trusts me anymore. I can't even get a job in the industry. Every investor I reach out to remembers how I screwed up the company. Even Mom and Dad have stopped bailing me out." I raised an eyebrow. "That bad, huh?" She let out a weak laugh. "Yeah." Then she paused, and finally, she looked me in the eye. "I'm sorry," she said. "For everything." And for the first time, I actually believed her. This wasn't the same old apology designed to get something from me. This one felt real. But here's the thing, it didn't change anything. I wasn't angry with her anymore. I wasn't holding a grudge. But I wasn't going to let her back into my life, either. I leaned back in my chair. "I appreciate the apology, Lisa. But that doesn't mean we go back to how things were." She nodded, like she expected it. "I know." For once, she didn't argue. She didn't try to manipulate me. She just accepted it. And honestly, that was enough for me. I paid for my coffee, stood up, and gave her one last look. "I hope you figure things out," I said. Then, I walked away. And this time? I knew I wouldn't be looking back. Walking away from Lisa that day felt different. No anger. No bitterness. No desire for revenge. Just closure. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I owed her anything. I didn't feel like I had to prove myself. I had one. Not because I destroyed her, but because I had moved on. And life? Life had never been better. My business was thriving. I had a team I could trust, clients who respected me, and complete control over my own success. All the stress, exhaustion, and dead weight I carried for years? Gone. Lisa's name hardly came up anymore. She had faded into the background, just another cautionary tale about greed and entitlement. As for me, I had finally built something that was mine. Something no one, not Lisa, not my family, not anyone, could take away. And that? That was the real victory.